Now I know that you've probably been asked this question a million times, so I'm going to ask you once more. Casino versus Goodfellas. There's this big argument.
We've had it last night.
I know we've had this argument so often on the show. And what is your take on it? Because Casino, I feel like it got kind of a bad rap upon its release, and it's gained in stature as the years have gone by. And a lot of that probably has to do with Goodfellas. Is that your take on it? What were your feelings about that?
First of all, I've not been asked this a million times, so sorry to disappoint, and yet quite a relief for me because I like this question a lot, and I think that you're hitting the proverbial nail on its head. Goodfellas, argue as you may about some of his other films, Raging Bull, Goodfellas is in my opinion, Scorsese's masterpiece. So, anything in its similar genre would only be compared to that.
Right.
Scorsese is one of those rare filmmakers that all of his films are compared to only his films and not other films.
Right, yeah.
Woody Allen the same. There's a few filmmakers like this, where you only compare it to their previous work.
Right.
As to whether it's good or bad, as opposed to comparing it to what's out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Goodfellas hadn't existed, I would dare say Casino would be Scorsese's masterpiece. But because Goodfellas existed prior,
mm-hmm.
For some, Casino was just returning to the scene of the crime. Oh, this again. And then it has to pale in comparison because it's being compared to his masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And, that is what it is. You can't get away from that.
Well, let me give you my take on it, because I know that you're incredibly curious about what my take must be.
I'm just writing that down. Must remember to ask your take.
Goodfellas and Casino, I kind of put them in terms of Godfather and Godfather 2.
Right.
Me. Godfather is a perfect film, but I will watch Godfather 2 probably first, because it just feels like so much. It's such a richer, kind of more delicious experience to me, and I feel the same way with Goodfellas in comparison, or Casino in comparison to Goodfellas. Does that make any sense to you?
Perfect.
Oh my God, it makes all the sense in the world. Where do we begin? No, I was just asked in a previous interview to give my top 5 films, which I just launched into. Because it was put to me like, if you were a professor instead of an actor of film, and you had to teach a course, what would be and you only had 5 films to teach it with, what would they be? And I said, well, if this were the curriculum, first of all, it would take considerably more time than you've allowed me to put my list together. And in this situation, what I said to that person was, I'm going to go against the norm and actually pick Godfather 2 in my top 5 instead of Godfather 1. And one of the main reasons is because it is the lone exception to the rule that the sequel's never better.
Right.
Or as good.
Right.
So whether it's good or better, it depends on the fan.
Right, of course.
But it is one or the other, and that doesn't exist in sequels ever. Although I will say, Grumpier Old Man was right up in,
of course.
But it doesn't exist. So to suggest that Casino is as good or better than Goodfellas, that would be an argument that may go down to the death,
mm-hmm.
Right.
depending on who you're having it with.
Right.
That's a debatable point of view that is, for true film lovers, a debate worth having.